Outspoken about your opposition to the war and have even called for a Department of Peace. Is killing ever justified?
I know there's theology that says there is, but my approach is this, that I believe that we have an obligation to send forth our truth and our love. And I think that we can create a world where love triumphs, not hate. And killing is an extension of a type of thinking which always sees the world into sees the world in warring camps, sees the world in terms of us versus them, whoever they are. I view the world as one. I see the world as interconnected and interdependent. And I act on that in trying to find ways of promoting peace and social and economic justice, which answers the claims of all people.
How do you think God views this war on Iraq?
You know, you answered the question in the intro, or you asked the question in the intro, is God on our side? I would say, are we on God's side? Do we really live the principles that we believe of truth and of social and economic justice, of love? I mean, these are things that these are spiritual values. And so I think that a nation such as America, which lives its spiritual truths, the spiritual truths that underpin the founding of this country, is a nation that will set war aside, that will beat its swords into plowshares, spears into pruning hooks. And that is what animates my belief that America can support a Department of Peace and Nonviolence, where we work to make nonviolence an organizing principle in our society, where you take the teachings of Christ, of Gandhi, of Dr. King, and of other religious leaders, and you make that part of the everyday practice in America, where we address the issues of domestic violence, spousal abuse, child abuse, violence in the schools, racial violence, violence against gays, and all the symptomatologies of our society that show that we're separate from each other, and look for ways to address those so that we can heal this country.
So
and the hand that I would bring to the White House would be a healing hand.
Congress, given what you've just said then, how do you view the sacrifice of the men and women who've already lost their lives in Iraq and those that continue to face death every day?
Their sacrifices are pure. Their sacrifices are an expression of their love of country, and we should honor all those who would serve our country and would be willing to put their lives on the line. However, those who would be president have a higher responsibility never to cause the lives of the men and women who serve this country to put in jeopardy for anything except the defense of our country.
And that's not what's happening in this war in Iraq. So are you demeaning their service?
No, not at all.
By saying what you're saying.
What I'm saying is that their sacrifice has to be honored under all circumstances. But those who have sent them not under honorable conditions. We're in Iraq based on lies. And, you know, the Bible has a line that says, that which is crooked cannot be made straight. Nothing will ever be made straight about our presence in Iraq. We must leave Iraq. We must bring our troops home. And we must work to achieve a kind of reconciliation with the people of Iraq, with the people of the world, and within our own country, in order to establish truth once again and make that truth the single principle upon which our country is based.
Let's talk about individual truths. Do you think there is too much emphasis on the personal faith of those of you who are running for president?
I think that it's important for people to not just talk about their faith, but to live the principles which animate their faith. And I think that when all of us do that, the country will be better served. So I don't think there can ever be too much emphasis on it. As a matter of fact, I think the founders intended America to be a country which celebrated spiritual principles. They didn't want church and state to be together. They wanted separation of church and state, and I support that.
All right.
But separation of church and state was never meant to separate us from spiritual values.
One last question for you, sir, before we have to quit. You talk about living the principles that animate your faith, and yet you are a practicing Catholic, and your views on abortion and gay marriage or gay unions is in direct opposition to what your church teaches. How do you reconcile that?
Well, actually, as president, I want to unite this country on the issue of abortion in this way. We need to do everything we can to make abortion less necessary, and we do that through prenatal care, postnatal care, child care, universal health care, a living wage, creating circumstances that make it less likely abortion will occur. I think our nation can be united along that. And with respect to those who happen to be gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgendered, or these are God's children. they should have the same rights. Our Constitution does not provide for any differences to be established. Doesn't provide for a two-tiered system of justice. Everyone should be equal under the law. And so, of course, I support marriage equality for all.
I have no right to let the interview go on any longer because we have to hit a commercial break. Congressman Dennis Kucinich, thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Peace.